Are you ready to do this, Matt?
Yes, sir. Punch it, Chewy.
Welcome, super friends, to the Fortress of Nerditude podcast, a safe place to talk about all things in nerd and pop culture. I'm Spencer Stapleton, and my co-pilot is Matt Shaw. We're two nerds that just refuse to grow up. Thank you for joining us. This is episode 209. We release every Thursday morning. You can find us on the website, fortofnerd.com. We have links to iTunes, Google Music, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, and everywhere podcasts are available. Stop by and relax while. If you like what you're hearing, you can hit that subscribe button and get us automatically each and every week in your ear holes. Matt, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
It's so weird to say that because I know this is Monday when we record and we're doing it live,
Yeah.
but this is going to release on Thanksgiving, which I don't know that we've ever had a podcast release on Thanksgiving before. I think we had one on Christmas one year.
Well, let's it depends on how long you've been releasing on Thursdays. We must have released it last time on Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving's always on Thursday.
Good point, Matt.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. You've released probably 3 or 4 podcasts on Thanksgiving.
Good
In
point.
fact, you and I had a discussion last year that aired on Thanksgiving. Imagine the odds. I mean, wow.
Wow. You know, I'm just thinking like the week, like how the normal holidays like
I
rotate.
get it. Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
And then I just realized I'm an idiot and you're absolutely right. Thanksgiving is always on a Thursday in November.
We should always should be that way for every holiday. Every
Gosh.
Christmas should be like a set day. We just know. I like the a Thursday situation with Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I don't
me
know, why
too.
is it only Thanksgiving that has it? Isn't that kind of weird?
I don't know, but I wish they could always like set Christmas to be on a Friday. That way
Yeah.
you get the Friday off, and then like this year I get the Thursday off for Christmas Eve. So it's an automatic 4-day weekend.
Yeah.
Like that should be a thing
Friday Christmas is like the best.
too. Yep.
It's like the best Christmas. Monday Christmas is pretty fun too, but I'm just thinking of like my own self. I don't work for anybody, so it doesn't really matter
Yeah,
to me
yeah,
for
sure.
days off. But like Monday Christmases are good because like, Christmas is a religious holiday.
Hmm.
Sunday Christmas Eve is a good thing.
Sure,
And
yeah, yeah.
Christmas Day on Monday. I think it's great too. Long story short, it's Thanksgiving, not Christmas.
It is
And I'm
Thanksgiving.
happy to be here. And we're going to talk Thanksgiving, and it's going to be a great time.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so looking
We're going to
forward
chat.
to this
We're gonna
discussion.
chat.
How has your
Oh,
week
yeah.
been? What's been going on?
It's been a good week. My parents are here.
Mama Shaw's still hanging
So,
out?
Yep. Mama Shaw knock on the wall here to say what's up. And they've been here all week just hanging out. My dad's been working in his room. I've been working in my room. So working's going
Yeah.
on. Man, we went to some of the malls around, did some shopping and hanging out. Lots of food. I mean,
Okay.
eating out, tons of eating out and having a good time. I made ribs, smoked some
Ooh.
ribs on Saturday.
Okay.
So that was good.
How did they turn out?
It turned out great. Mama Shaw says, "Oh my gosh." She's knocking.
Well-
You guys got a response. Did you hear that?
Oh, yes. And
That was Mama Shaw.
yeah.
Let's see. The ribs were really, really good. My mom said they were the best ribs she's ever had, which that's compliments.
That's
to the
high
chef.
praise.
They were delicious. It was a lot of fun. I like making the ribs. The ribs are relatively easy and relatively low maintenance. There's a little bit of difficulty, but I have a good time with it. Um, man, other than that, it was lots of shows.
Hmm.
So kids go down and my parents are here, and so it's like what fun holiday themed show. So we've run through a bunch of The Office Christmases. We've run
Okay.
through some cheesy Christmas movies, Hallmark Lifetimes,
We're at that time of year, aren't
Badass.
we?
Yeah, I enjoy those. Jesse likes them too. And then we watched this new Netflix series called Dash and Lily.
I haven't heard of that.
Fantastic. Really good. If you like teen drama, romance, Christmas, um for those that have seen To All the Boys I've Loved Before from Netflix, which is another great kind of romantic comedy teen thing. It's like that at Christmas time in a 25-minute series of 8 episodes.
Okay.
Based on a book. Um, it's just a fun Christmas, happy, feel good show. I really liked it. And that took
Hmm.
up a lot of the watching. Watch a couple episodes every night and then hang out, play some games, chat. That was really what we did. I'm sure there were a million other things that happened and things that we did, but those were the main things. Jesse and I, because my parents are here, COVID makes it hard to go on dates because you can't trust nobody to bring the COVID into your house or
Right.
not. So,
Sure.
mom and dad watched Emmy and Lando today.
Oh,
Jesse and I got to go out on a date. We went to Top Golf, and it was a lot of fun. Good to get
really?
out away from
Nice.
the kids, just me and Jesse. Show her something that I really enjoy now, golfing. Kind of teach her. She's never hit a golf ball middle school, she said. So we had
Okay.
some fun trying to figure it out, and she was a dancer her entire life until college basically, and so her feet go a certain way because she's a dancer, and that your toes point out. That's what you're supposed to do, and in golf you want to keep
Right.
everything
Keep them
as
straight.
angular
Yeah.
and straight and shoulder width, and there's certain ways that you move your body, and it's not the way a dancer holds their body. So it was kind of fun to try to teach her how to do that.
Every time,
Jesse's
every time she'd
very
swing, did you start singing "Hold Me Closer, Tiny
oh,
Dancer"? No,
I did
nothing.
not.
Dang it,
No.
missed
Nope.
opportunity.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Dang.
Um, it was it was a lot of fun. Jesse's really competitive, just like me, but we had a great time with it, and she got the hang of it towards the end and was able to hit the ball with some decent contact and a little bit more distance. So it was a lot of fun. So that was basically the week. It was a great time. My sister flies in tonight, so
Nice.
we'll
So
have uh, we'll have a little crew.
yeah,
It's a small
sounds like you had
small
a
group.
real good week.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice. I had an interesting week. It was really good. You remember last week I talked about doing the business continuity plan failover test, where basically I
Yes.
we simulated like a
Yes.
disaster. So this last weekend, um, my buddy Josh, who is kind of like the same position that I am, my equivalent in the Nashville office, had his, and so it was like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday my time, and I jumped on, and I did that not because I needed to be there, but like he jumped on for mine, and I wanted to be there to support him. And one of the others, Brian, another guy I work with, who's kind of like our also equivalent in Detroit, he jumped on, and so it was kind of fun just because even though we were not part of it, like we were all kind of hanging out and kind of chatting and there for moral support, questions, whatever, but it was
Uh,
just one of those things where it's like you can see the tech side in all of us where it's like I don't normally show up when someone's doing like an after hours like you know patching of servers, but for
yeah.
something like this it's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting to watch people check and see like hey, do you have problems, are you gonna have problems coming back up, da,
Yeah.
da, da. So
Yeah.
that was fun, and I was glad I was able to hang out for a little while. I got to give my boss a hard time because he's a Packers fan, and of course in this household it's all go Bears, nothing else. Um, so I've got some anti-Packers social media posts that I'm about ready to start spamming his Facebook and stuff
Oh
a little
gosh.
bit later because this weekend after Thanksgiving is Bears Packers.
Nice.
And of course, I'm sure the Bears are going to get destroyed because they're not as good. They looked good and then
Yeah.
they've fallen apart. But I'm going to tell you what, I still hate the Packers, and I'm standing by that through and
Good for
through.
you. Good for you.
Let's see what else. Oh, our in-laws, Chris and Chip, they stopped by on their way to go out to California.
Oh,
So they're going to California for Thanksgiving. So they literally drove by, they stopped in, they had dinner with us and hung around for a couple of hours. And then they moved a little further down south to pick up their other daughter, stayed with her, and then left the next morning to go out to California. So got to see them for a couple hours, which was nice. It was fun just being able to kind of
yeah.
hang out and let the boys were so excited to see their grandparents, and they were reading them jokes out of the Charlie was reading jokes out of this little joke book, and Jackson was reading these little Star Wars stories. He's so excited every
Yeah.
time he goes to the library at school. He either gets one of two types of books. One are these books called Fly Guy, and they're like these like little stories about like a house fly that has like a
Okay.
name named Buzz, and he's hanging around like this like little kid, and I don't know. They tell these stories. Or he always gets Star Wars books. And he comes home and he's like, Dad, I got Star Wars books because I know they're your favorite. I was like, yeah, but are they your favorite? He's like, yes, of course. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm like, as long as you're getting it for
Yeah.
you, don't get it for me. Like it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they were reading to our in-laws, which was a lot of fun just to watch them. They were so excited for it because they had no clue. It was a complete surprise. Let's see here. Today, on Monday, I took a lunch break, which was the first time in a little while, and drove over to a furniture store with Brita,
Mm-hmm.
and we picked out her Christmas present. So this year for Christmas, she's going to be getting a new kitchen table, chairs, bench, and some end tables to go
Oh
in our living
wow.
room.
Very
So
nice.
that
Cool.
was that was her Christmas present. We're gonna call it our Christmas present
Yeah.
to each other, just because it would be a little more than I would normally spend on just her.
Right.
I'm fine with the table and chairs we have.
Right. Right. Right.
But she'd wanted new table and chairs for a long time, and she wanted some end tables. I was like, what do you want for Christmas? And she's like, nothing except for that. And I was like, let's do that. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like
Yeah.
let's just let's bite the bullet. Otherwise, I'm gonna be in this pattern of next year for like the
Right.
next 10 years. So
Yeah. Yeah.
let's see, we did that. Um, I've started playing more Animal Crossing since the patch came out that introduced
Yeah.
the
Oh, I
Turkey
gotta play
Day
again.
and
Ugh.
the Toy Day, which is essentially Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I've been running around a little bit this weekend collecting red maple leaves so I can make some like red pile of leaves and
So
probably
cool. I
some
want to
other
play.
things. And then, oh, one last thing. So I've been watching a lot of stuff this last week. I've I've watched some Chappelle show because it's on Netflix, and I'm rewatching that, and I love it. We've been watching some Great British Baking Show.
Oh yeah.
We've just watched a lot of things. I don't know if I told you about Peanut Butter Falcon last week, or if maybe that happened like this last week. I watched this movie called Peanut Butter Falcon with Shia
Right. With
LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf. Yep.
It is an
Great movie.
amazing movie. I loved it.
Yeah. It's great.
Just loved it. But then the coup de grace, the big thing. I mean, obviously besides Mando, because we talked about that on the
Yep.
Sidekick. The Lego Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah. We watched that
I
yesterday.
watched that, or Breed and I watched that with the boys Saturday night, Sunday night maybe.
Nice.
And I gotta say, that was so much fun.
Yeah. That was really fun. I
I
agree.
I loved that. I loved the humor in it. It's it's family friendly.
Mhm.
It's just funny. Like there was all sorts of references that were right over the boys' head. Like they weren't gonna get it because they haven't seen the prequels yet. They haven't seen the sequels yet. Well, I guess they've seen
Right.
Force Awakens, but they really haven't seen all of the sequels. And so some of the references they didn't get, they didn't understand why they were really funny when Breed and I would start laughing out loud. But I gotta say, if you love Star Wars and you've seen the Star Wars stuff, go on Disney Plus and watch the Lego Star Wars Holiday
Yeah,
Special.
it's fun. Yep.
It is so much fun. Like it's a good whatever it was, 45, 47 minutes. It's
Yeah,
well worth your time.
I agree.
But
Was fun.
that was my week, man. Just like it was a good
Nice.
week. It was a real good week.
Nice.
Well, Matt, I think it's time we shift on to the next segment of the podcast, which is one of my favorite segments. But first, on this Thanksgiving, we have to kill some Bothans.
I'm so sorry.
So I think we're going to invite some Bothans to the table. We're going to sit down. We're going to break bread with them. And then we're going to pull out our Lego lightsabers and we're going to slice them all to bits.
Nice.
I always have to let you know, many Bothans died to bring us this information.
Rest in peace, you Bothans.
All right, Matt, we are into Rebel Intelligence. What do you have for me this week?
All right. Y'all, we've talked about this. And I'm trying to remember. I wanted to almost go back and listen to a couple of the podcasts to see when I talked about this.
Okay.
But I believe that I brought this to the table as a possible solution as it pertains to Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh.
Where I said Wonder Woman 1984 cast crew DC should go to HBO Max and say, we're going to make this happen on this platform. And I don't know, maybe they listened to the podcast because by golly, we are getting Wonder Woman 1984 released in theaters on Christmas Day, but also on HBO Max for free if you are a subscriber.
Yeah.
So no like premiere access like Disney did for Mulan. This is just, you get to watch the movie.
Yep.
And I thought, that's awesome. I don't have to go anywhere. And I will do, look, it's a 7-day free trial, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
What else are you going to watch on there? Try and fit in the one other thing you want to watch on HBO Max because they don't have anything. And make a Christmas Day and day after Christmas, Boxing Day event of it.
To be fair, HBO Max has all the HBO content as well, right?
I guess that's true.
So I mean, like,
well, I think I don't know. Is there
I'm pretty sure it is when. Yeah, I'm pretty sure when they when they did the rebrand, when they got away from the HBO Go and the HBO Now, like, so like HBO actually does have a lot of really good content on there. I mean, if you're looking for comedy, there's things like Veep. If you're looking for drama, there's like, gosh, there's so much stuff. So like they have, you know, the Game of Thrones, they've got Band of Brothers, they've got, you know, oh gosh, The Wire, Sopranos, they've got tons of stuff. And if your kids remember, that's where Sesame Street ended up landing. So like here's the thing. I don't want to go get HBO Max right now or when, you know, Wonder Woman 84 comes out. Right. Because the problem is I've had HBO in the past. I understand how much quality content they have. And I know that I didn't catch the last couple seasons of Veep now. And I know I didn't catch the last couple seasons of Silicon Valley. And I know that there's stuff
you're afraid
that I'm
get sucked in.
Dude, I know it's gonna happen. Like I know I will do the 7-day trial. I'm like, okay, Wonder Woman 84, and then let's just like binge as much as we can, which probably a lot of people are going to do. And then it'll be like 3 or 4 months down the road when I decide to cancel it. Now, if I get my value out of it and I'm watching content, okay, great, right? Like it's worth it.
Right. Yep.
But I have these other services, Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, Amazon already. So I was like you get to a point where it's kind of like you have too many streaming services. You're basically paying for cable again.
Right.
So I think, as far as the movie going over to HBO Max, this makes sense. I mean, Tenet was trying to hold out, to have a big theatrical release. And from a theatrical business standpoint, it was a bomb. For the money they put into that movie, it was a bomb. It was not going to make its money back. Nowhere near making its money back. Nowhere even like a tenth of making its money back. Like it was,
Right.
at least domestically, right? So I kept saying, and you and I've talked about this. What were they waiting on? Why did they wait when we're literally a month away from Christmas?
Right.
I mean, it makes
Well,
sense.
yeah, it does. And I'm happy that it's like officially
Yeah.
happening. And the only bummer, and I know I'm not the only one who cares about this nowadays because most TVs come with this capability, but the fact that HBO Max still cannot stream 4K HDR content is
Yeah.
mind-boggling. Especially in HBO, they like they'll paint themselves as like we are premier entertainment, like we are
Yeah.
like the best. You can't even stream in 4K HDR. Day one, Disney had hundreds. I mean, they remastered every single Star Wars movie and it was ready to go on launch day in 4K HDR Dolby Vision. Muppet freaking Christmas Carol. I can watch in Dolby Vision, but I can't watch Wonder Woman 1984 in anything other than HD.
Hashtag triggered.
Unbelievable. Anyway, but that's the good news. What
So
you got for me?
let me ask you. I want to ask.
No,
I'm gonna stay away
it
from the
gets
H.
me
I'm gonna stay away from the
mad.
4K. I'm gonna stay away from the 4K
Okay,
because I don't even have a 4K TV.
that's way higher. That's just weird.
I don't even have one. I've never seen anything in 4K. How
Okay.
about that?
Right.
And that
It's not the Ks that I care about. It's the HDR that I care
Sure.
about. I think that's probably the same for most people.
the funny thing is, Brita and I actually had a conversation about this a little differently because it was about PS5. Because my brother was asking me, he's like, well, when you get a PS5, he's like, do you have like a 4K TV? I was like, nope. He's like, are you gonna get one? Nope. He's like, you're not even gonna take full advantage. I'm like, here's the deal. My TVs work fine right now. They look good. And buying like a $500, $600, $700 TV isn't going to do anything because my PS5 is going to sit down in the basement anyway. It's where I'm going to stream from. So we're not going to get to take advantage of it unless we start watching Disney and Netflix and whatnot in 4K. So Brita and I kind of talked and I was like, yeah, until one of my TVs busts or goes bad or something happens, or unless it's like a huge leap like it was going from standard definition to high definition,
Right.
until there's like something to push me, I'm not going to. Anyway, that's a side like whole like little side story. My question to you is this, Matt. On Christmas Day now, we have two major motion pictures, major motion pictures, major motion pictures, major
we got two of them.
motion pictures that are releasing. We've got Soul, which is coming to Disney Plus for free, and we got Wonder Woman 1984. If you had to choose one, what are you going with?
Soul.
Is that just because of the family aspect?
No. It's because it's Pixar.
Oh, well, hey, fair enough.
I feel, yeah, I would probably choose a Pixar film over a DC film, even Wonder Woman. Anytime. I've waited for Wonder Woman long enough. I mean, I could wait.
For us, I thought about the same thing too, because Brita literally said to me, she's like, so are we going to get HBO Max? Because there's a couple shows I still want to watch. I'm like, oh, here we go. Like,
Yep.
Like I know eventually we'll end up getting it, and probably longer than the 7 day. But I was like, it comes out the same day as Soul. I'm like, how many movies are we realistically going to watch? Because, hopefully the situation improves and we can see some family. Because my mom's in town, my brother and his wife and kids are here in
Yeah.
town, and my in-laws are going to be in town. Chris and Chip are going to be in town as well. So it's like, Christmas is gonna be like, the normal things, right? Like get up, do the presents, whatever, and then like how many
Right.
movies can we pack into the day? So if we're gonna pick one, it's probably gonna be Soul because A, it's Pixar, but B, because the whole family would be gathered and the whole family could watch that. I wouldn't let
Yep.
my kids watch Wonder Woman 1984 without screening it first.
Sure.
So interesting though. That's big news though, Matt. I'm happy. I
Yeah.
love this news. I think it's great. Let's move on.
All right.
Because I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, here's something really cool, Matt. You remember a little while ago, there's this small television studio by the name of Fox, and they were bought out by Disney. Disney dropped a lot of money, right? So we've had this conversation before about what's going to happen with Deadpool. Because
Oh yeah.
Deadpool made a ton of money with the first movie, ton of money with the second one. It's like the highest like grossing R-rated movie. But Disney is doing all these superhero movies, but none of them are rated R. They're
Right.
all PG-13 at the top end. Well, apparently Marvel is going forward with Deadpool 3, and they're going forward with Ryan Reynolds. So something else we severely question, because we know they're not going to do a Fantastic Four movie with the last cast that did Fantastic Four.
Right.
We know they're not going to start their X-Men movies with like the full cast of the last, batch. But the question's been, Deadpool is huge. It's making money. The star is the lead, actor is super involved in the project and helping make it and write it. So like, is that going to happen? Well, we've got some official word that Deadpool 3 is a go at Disney. And somehow they're going to tie it into the MCU, or maybe it's going to be their own thing. But come on, let's be honest. There's going to be jokes about Deadpool being in the MCU finally. Maybe a way to tie in some of the X-Men, I don't know. But they brought in two writers, Wendy Mullenix and Lizzie Mullenix Loughlin, who are currently writing the TV show Bob's Burgers. And they're bringing them in to write it. Apparently Ryan Reynolds was part of the interview process, and he sat in and like listened to all these pitches and whatnot from writers, and he said like, this is the way we want to go, this is the story we want to tell. And so they're picked to do it. Kevin Feige is on board with the new movie. It's going into development. They're saying that they think that it could be going into production to be filmed in 2021 potentially, and that the option for David Leitch, who directed Deadpool 2, like the door is open for him. So if he wants to come back and direct this one, but apparently his schedule's kind of busy. I'm excited by this because I've seen both of the Deadpool movies, and I really love them. Deadpool is irreverent. It's crazy. It's not a safe for kids type of comic book character. But I want to see what's going to happen, and the fact that they're going to bring this in, this can open up some doors. So I'm excited about this. How does this strike you? How does this hit you?
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Disney handles it. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait for more information. I think it's great that it's a go. I think it's good for Marvel. I think it's good for comic books and comic series. And Deadpool is extremely popular, and Ryan Reynolds is perhaps the most likable person
Oh
in
yeah,
Hollywood right now. Um, and he's just relatable, and getting him as a star superhero, potentially, I mean superhero in quotes here, um in, in your biggest franchise, meaning the MCU.
yeah,
There's some, I mean, you're right, there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of doors that could open. It's going to be really interesting to see what they do and how hard and heavy they make it.
yep,
What kind of content we're talking. See them almost doing what Deadpool 2 did, which is release Deadpool 2, and then release kind of the PG-13 version of Deadpool 2 with Once Upon a Deadpool.
right.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah,
Very
I'm
cool.
excited. What else you got for me?
Stranger Things 4, which
Ooh.
we don't know anything about really, and it's starting to frustrate me. And like, what's happening? Like,
Yeah,
what are we doing? Well, they have announced the following paragraph. I'll just say that. I'm going to read straight from what Netflix has said. They've announced that Jamie Campbell Bower from Sweeney Todd, Eduardo Franco from Booksmart, and Joseph Quinn, Catherine the Great, have joined the cast of Stranger Things as series regulars together with horror icon Robert Englund, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
Who boarded the series in a recurring role alongside Tom Wallachika from Game of Thrones, Sherman Augustus from Westworld, Mason Dye from The Goldbergs, and Nicola Jurko from
Wow.
Genius.
Good job.
So there's a lot.
Good job on all those names.
I know.
Perfect.
I didn't mess any of them.
No. Those were perfect.
So we're getting a lot of new casting information. What I thought was interesting is that there's like 4 that are supposed to be series regulars, not just kind of recurring. And then they announced the other ones as recurring. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting. I mean, I was nervous after season 1 when they brought in new characters. I was like, no, I love these ones too much. I don't need new. I don't need can't even remember her name, the redhead girl.
Oh,
Max,
yeah.
Max and
I was about to say Billy.
When they were brought in, I was like, ah, man. But now it's like, oh, I can't imagine it. Well, Max, I don't really care about. But Billy.
Oh, so good.
His character is deep and special. But anyway,
so good.
Let's hope we get more. I mean, we will. This is the Duffer Brothers. I have complete and total trust and faith. There's no reason for any of us to doubt them at this point. So we'll see what's happening. I mean, just some little teases here and there. We got a little bit of more casting information that series regular Bauer, the actor we talked about before, will be playing Peter Ballard, a caring man who works as an orderly at a psychiatric hospital. We get a little bit of information. Franco is joining the cast to play Argyle, Jonathan's new best friend. His character is described as being a fun-loving stoner who proudly delivers delicious pizza pies for Surfer Boy Pizza. Very interesting.
That sounds on brand.
Delivery guy. I love that.
Love it.
Especially a stoner. Come on. And then Quinn joins as Eddie Munson, an audacious 80s metalhead who runs the Hellfire Club, Hawkins High's official D&D club.
Ooh.
He's said to be a Marmite character who is, quote, hated by those who don't understand him and beloved by those who do.
Okay.
He'll find himself at the terrifying epicenter of this season's mystery. So quite a few little tidbits, because I think they know that we're like WTF
chomping at the bit.
Like, what's going on, man? So anyway, there you go. Very cool.
Interesting. I'm so excited for that series.
I know.
I can't wait for it to come back. But we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer.
We'll wait.
Yeah, we will. All right, Matt. I'm gonna drop some fire here. This is not good news. Comcast or Xfinity, however you want to look at it. Okay. So they're in the news right now because they're about ready to do something that's not going to make a lot of people happy. So if you have internet in your home, most people probably don't know this, but maybe more are becoming aware now that you actually have a data cap on your home internet. Now, most people that have cell phones are used to this idea of a data cap because it was introduced, probably a decade ago. And now you don't pay for text messages and minutes anymore. You just pay for data, and then you pay like a one-time fee every month for the number of minutes and, text messages or whatever. They call it just like a access fee.
Right.
But you pay for your data, and it scales. So Xfinity Comcast has had a data cap of 1.2 terabytes for quite a while. But just most people aren't getting anywhere near that on a normal basis. Well, with the pandemic, more people are working from home, so they're on their computers all day long. They're in Teams meetings and Zoom meetings and taking, phone calls through their computers, and they're just, online more. but people are also streaming stuff all day because now they're home and they're like, well, while I'm filling out this spreadsheet, I can also be watching the latest episode of The Great British Baking Show or something, like the Queen's
Yeah.
Gambit, which is new, or Tiger King when that was the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people are ripping through their data a lot faster. And now Comcast is coming out and saying that they're planning on charging for those overages. Um, Early on in the pandemic, I actually got a letter from Comcast saying, "Hey, we're temporarily lifting the data cap because we know that
Okay.
everyone's
Yeah.
going to be home and blah blah blah, and that's going to go through the end of July or whatever." But apparently, if you live in the Northeast right now, Xfinity is saying, hey, if you live in Connecticut, Delaware, Massachusetts, Maine, Maryland, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Vermont, West Virginia, and the District of Columbia, and parts of North Carolina and Ohio,
Jeez.
if you go over your 1.2 terabytes of data, you're going to get charged $10 for every 50 gigs you go over. The only way to get around this is to have unlimited. And I've actually looked into unlimited. Depending on where you're at, usually unlimited is like an additional $20 or $30 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to go over it, that could be the better way to go. I'm going to give you some examples, Matt. So for context, if you stream in HD, every hour you stream uses about 3 gigs. If you're doing something like online gaming where like you're streaming it, like if you are one of the few people that actually has Google Stadia, you're actually using about 10 gigs of data every hour. If you're a streamer and you're uploading data, that also goes towards that bandwidth because it doesn't matter about download upload, it's total data is that 1.2 terabyte cap.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how this strikes you, but let me tell you something. As someone who has a house full of streaming devices, myself and my wife both work from home the majority of the time. We've got kids that have been home, for schools because schools with soft closures and whatnot. Everyone in this house is either streaming or working online. And then we stream in the evenings. We stream, information to our devices. I play video games and stream those video games, kind of like what we're doing right now, streaming the podcast live onto Twitch. Like, all of that adds up. I've gone over that 1.2 terabyte cap a few times during those summer months. Now that the kids are back in school 4 days a week, I need to go back and kind of reevaluate and see like where I'm actually hitting. I think this is a really bad move. From a business perspective, I get it. Like, they're going to make money. But, like, currently in the States, people are still going to be probably working from home at least halfway into next year, if not even longer, just depending on how fast vaccine can get around and get to people.
Right.
Like, either you got to suspend this altogether or raise that data cap to, like, make it 2 terabytes. Like, put it somewhere that like it's not really as obtainable. Like, you would have to like seriously really work hard at getting to that data cap. Because I think that's the thing, most people didn't even know they had a data cap because it was set so high. But now our work habits and our life habits have shifted so dramatically to online and streaming that like now that's not it. That's hitting 1.2 terabytes is not that hard for a guy like you who loves his 4K HDR. I'm gonna guess you're probably getting close. You'd be getting close to that monthly easily.
Oh yeah, we would be in trouble. Thankfully, we are not one of the people. We have a local company and we do fiber, so we don't have data caps.
No data
so
cap.
we're lucky. But that sucks.
Yeah.
It's a sucky move to do right now. Like, does it say when it starts?
I think January 1st.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yep.
At
So
least it wasn't like
Merry
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry
We're starting right
Christmas,
now.
Happy New Year, pay up.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I hate to say I get it, but I do.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they were giving it for free for this year, and now it's like, well, I mean, it's not free anymore, so
Right. Here's the thing.
pay up.
We just had fiber get laid in our neighborhood. Like our whole city's getting
Yeah,
fiber right now. And I know they say it might not be online for another year or two because they've got to get all the fiber laid out everywhere. And then they've got to turn it up. They've got to get
right.
all the other things in place. But I tell you what, I'm probably going to be switching because I can probably get the same speeds for a little less the cost and no data cap.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
Yep.
no-brainer.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't like this move from a
From a
perspective
human
from a
standpoint.
human standpoint of the pandemic.
Right.
I don't like
Yeah.
this move. From a business
Well,
standpoint, I understand. Like it's been your threshold for a long time.
right.
But come on, guys. I mean, come on.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yep. Freaking
sorry. I'm so sorry for those that live in the
Xfinity
Northeast.
Comcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Here's some good news.
Oh, there we go.
Interesting news and good news. Both
Ooh.
news of this. Black Panther 2,
Yeah.
which we've talked about and speculated a little bit about with the passing of Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? How are they going to move forward? We still don't have those details yet. However, we do have some detail that Black Panther 2 is still set to begin filming in July of this next year of
Okay.
2021. Ryan Coogler obviously still on board. Everybody's still kind of rip roaring and ready to go. All of the cast is going to come back. Also, we had the addition of one of, or maybe the, but certainly one of the villains. And his name is, and I will butcher this yet again, Tenoch Huerta, excuse me,
Huerta.
A.
Tanach
Huerta,
Huerta.
from Mexico.
Okay.
So we are getting casting news on a movie that we don't really know what direction, like, we don't know what's happening with the lead character.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, that's all I can think of. It's interesting. I'm sure that Mr. Huerta is a great actor. I have
Mm.
no idea what he's been in, and I've tried to look, and not a lot of information. Um, it's going to be. I mean, long story short, Black Panther 2 is coming back. Begins filming in Atlanta in July of 2021. They say 6 months probably in production, and we're getting a new movie.
Yeah.
They know what direction they're taking. We don't, but they know.
This kind of reminds me of The Dark Knight and then The Dark Knight Rises. Remember, because Heath Ledger died
Yeah.
before The Dark Knight Rises, and he was supposed to be the villain in that movie. Like they were going to continue on in The Dark Knight Rises, where kind of where they left off with The Dark Knight.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden they were like, okay, well, we've got to shift and change things, and
Right.
they did. But
The movie suffered.
But obviously the movie suffered because they didn't get to tell the story they wanted to tell.
Right.
And so not that I necessarily think Black Panther 2 is going to suffer like horribly, like it would fail and bomb entirely, because it's an MCU movie and I think a lot of people will go and support it because of that reason. But it's going to be different. I think it is going to struggle more than probably most of the MCU movies up at this point now.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be, yeah. I mean, it's impossible to predict. I think their most successful route is to make Shuri the main character.
Yeah, and I've
That's what I think.
heard that's where they're gonna go. Like that's the
I think if they do
scuttlebutt.
that a-okay with me.
Yeah.
She's awesome, and I would love. I mean, I don't know how she'd fight. It'd be interesting what direction she then. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Black Panther to this point has been like all about power and fighting and the suit and all of that. She would bring a different dimension. She'd have to bring.
She's technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of a Tony Stark.
Yeah.
kind of aspect to two things, but is
The interesting thing
similar
is
than Tony Stark.
like think about this too. She, from a storytelling perspective, she could get into a position where the mantle gets passed to her, and maybe some of the other factions and the other tribes, maybe they don't back her all the way because
Right.
they think she's just this tech smart genius,
Weak.
but she's been trained her whole life, but she just chooses not to focus on the physical side but on
Right.
the tech side, and that she can still then like put on the suit and show like heck yeah she can hold her own. Like she's been trained by like these amazing other women around her that like support the king and take care of the Black Panther. Like so like I think there's things that they definitely could do to like story wise to kind of like round some of that out to like not make it such a dichotomy of like the physical strength versus intellect. Like I think they could do that.
Yep. It's gonna be cool. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. That's for me. Besides, how do we do the X-Men? How do we bring in Fantastic Four? Like those are big questions. Now the big question mark is how do they address Chadwick Boseman's passing in the franchise, because his character was pretty crucial to some of the plans going forward and where he fit in. So in Feige we trust. Like I have faith that they'll figure it out, but it's a question mark. We'll have to see. Nothing we can do.
Yep. We'll see.
All right, Matt. The last thing I've got here for this week, we've talked about this a little bit before. You just got done playing The Last of Us and then the Last of Us Part 2. I'd previously played The Last of Us and then recently The Last of Us Part 2 here in this last year. Here's the thing. We've talked about this before, but HBO shared in a press release just like a day or two ago that the series, which started into development earlier this year, is moving forward. They've ordered a full series. It's going to be written by Craig Mazin along with Neil Druckmann. And Neil Druckmann is the director of Naughty Dog, who was like, the driving force in writing and creating that entire series. So HBO is obviously, they're really happy. They're talking about how, with Craig and Neil, they're visionaries. They're in a league of their own. And you bring that over to HBO and alongside, Carolyn Strauss and some of the other people that are working at HBO, that we're going to deliver something that's going to be a powerfully immersive story. And they have their own way of doing storytelling and stuff, right? So like officially we've got word that this is moving forward. We have a series order. It is being written. I'm excited. Like that's good news to know that it's going forward. Yeah. Here's my only worry, and I want this. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I want this. Like, I'm gonna fanboy out about this hardcore. Right. That video game is so, and the second one, they're so cinematic. Like, it's almost like you're in a movie at times.
Yeah.
And like, you forget. Oh yeah, I'm actually playing a game. So I think it's gonna adapt well to being a TV show, a series. My only concern is how true do they stay to the original source material? How far do they venture off? Mm-hmm. Because I think if they venture too far off, they may lose fans from the series. Yeah. If they stay too true to it, it could just be like, okay, well, we know what's going to happen. Like, it's going to lose some of that excitement and suspense. And, like, I can't make an accurate comparison. Like, I wanted to say, like, The Witcher would be... But The Witcher's not, though, because The Witcher video games and The Witcher books are different, and they're basing the show off the books and not the video game. So they've got content to pull from, but it feels very similar to the video game experience because of visuals, right? So I don't know. I'm a little hesitant about this. I want it to do great. I want this thing to be huge. I want it to be the next Game of Thrones, right? Because I love those books. Like I want it to be big.
Yeah.
How do you like? Where's that balance of Like, we need to have some new stuff and keep fresh and be able to have possibilities to tell some other stories if this thing really catches on and goes a long way. Or how
Yeah.
close do you stay true to the material? I don't know.
I don't know at all. My fear is it becomes like The Walking Dead if you don't have a good, clear story. If it's just like about survival, I don't think that's Neil Druckmann's style. He's
No.
very character focused, and it doesn't make sense for him to do a story that sucks like The Walking Dead sucks. So,
Ooh, fire! Look
uh,
out!
oh, come on, who could disagree?
Ugh.
Gosh, character development in that show is my 3.5-year-old could write a better show than that.
Wow!
Moving on.
Wow! Whew.
My fear is at one end, if they don't stay true and they tell a different story with different characters, that it becomes The Walking Dead.
Okay.
I don't have the same fear as I would love to see a shot for shot of the first two games. I would sit there and I would watch 20 million hours of what I just played because it's
Oh,
that good and it's always that good. Like the game is always that good. And I know people disagree or whatever they want to say about Last of Us Part 2, which is a complete bull crap.
right.
One of the
I
greatest games
love
ever
that game.
made.
Yeah.
I hope that they stick with Ellie and they stick with Joel
Oh,
and they can tell other stories, Joel's brother,
Tommy. Yeah.
Tommy. I mean, there's other things they can do and they can spend more time in places. They could even tell us a little bit more about what happens between The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2
Well,
and give us some filler
and
and some more information.
if you remember, I guess now that I'm thinking about this too, like we kind of skip around seasons some, so like it'll be spring and we'll see maybe a few days, a week or so of spring, and then next thing you know, we're in summer.
Right.
So like they can fill some missing gaps in some of that time and have some other stories, and then still when they get back to summer, we hit some of the highlights that fans of the series are expecting.
Right. We'll see, man. We'll see. It'll be interesting. The first casting news they break is going to tell us everything we need to know about. I feel like about what direction we're going.
If the first casting news isn't Joel and Ellie, that would be a massive failure from a PR perspective.
I agree. And that's why this is going to be very telling.
Yep.
It'll be very telling. I mean, it's also not. Anyway, we'll see.
Yep.
All right. I got one last thing. Speaking of The Last of Us Part 2. Okay. Get ready to count in your head because I'm going to ask you how many of these you've played.
Ooh, okay.
These games. The Game Awards are just around the corner. It's obviously a digital event this year. It's going to be on December 10th. So it's coming up pretty quick. All the announcements were made this week. I actually watched some of this live somehow. I was on YouTube and it was like suggested. Okay. Yeah,
nice.
Sure. I'll watch this. And I got right at the end. So here are the nominees for the Game of the Year. Obviously, there's a ton of different categories and it should be a night filled with like high expectations that never quite deliver, which is how it is every year.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
It could be the year they reveal Metroid, and it's never the year they reveal Metroid. Anyway, Game of the Year.
Hashtag triggered.
Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Okay.
Doom Eternal.
Right.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. Okay. Ghost of Tsushima. Hades. And The Last of Us Part 2.
How many did you list?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I played 3. So 50%. I haven't played Hades, I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, and I haven't played Doom Eternal.
I've played 4 of them.
Because you played Ghost, right?
Doom Eternal, Ghost of Tsushima, and The Last of Us Part 2. I did not play Final Fantasy or Hades.
Okay. There's some
if
good.
You had to pick.
Yeah, like that's yeah.
We'll just do a quick hitter, and then we'll move on. But which game would you pick for your Game of the Year? And it doesn't have to be on this list. What's your Game of the Year? I'm just curious.
Oh, jeez.
Just right quick. We may have to
Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's
Last of Us Part 2 and then Ghost right below. Ghost of Tsushima just barely below.
I haven't played Ghosts. I watched some streamers stream it, and it looks interesting.
Yeah.
But I've never watched enough of it to know like what the story is about. I just see people fighting with swords, jumping onto horses, and running in the wind. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all. Cool. That's all I've seen. So Final Fantasy VII Remake, I played it. It was great. I personally love that game.
Right.
Um, had had it not been Last of Us 2 in that list, I would have said Final Fantasy VII Remake because it was such a big endeavor and it was such a great
Sure.
game. And the fact like you only get to the certain part when you get out of Midgar, and that's where I was like, that was a big. I put in like over 50 hours. So, and then Animal Crossing, like
It's a great game, but
it's
it
here's
doesn't quite fit.
here's the thing though, who's voting on this? Because if this is the fans voting, that game hooked so many people and helped
Right.
so many people with needing something during the pandemic that
Yes.
like you play through a Last of Us and it's like, you might play 40 hours in a game and then you're going to set it down because you've got the story and now it's over. Same thing with Final Fantasy 7, same thing probably with Ghost, same thing.
Yeah.
But Animal Crossing, like 40 hours in, like I got a couple hundred hours into that game and I can continue to pick it up and play it and do things. So if fans are voting, we could see an upset. This could be like an Animal Crossing just with the sheer number of how many people picked it up. People that went out and bought Switches. Like my wife doesn't play console games.
Yeah.
I bought her a Switch just for that game.
Yep.
So
I know the feeling.
I don't know. If it's me, I'm saying Last of Us Part 2. I think if it's industry people that are voting, I think it could be Last of Us Part 2 or maybe Ghosts would be my second pick. If it's fans, ooh, it could be an Animal Crossing upset. I'm just saying it. There's that possibility.
Very possible. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, good, Matt. We got some good Rebel Intelligence this week. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Let's rewind. We're gonna go back to last week. We talked about Disney Plus as a service, and we rated it. We've been out a year, and we asked the Super Friends if they wanted to go ahead and rate Disney Plus as a service, and then if they want, they can rate the other streaming services and add them in. Yeah. We just got a couple real quick. I don't want to hit too many of these, but let's start over email like we always do with Peter Christensen. That's forthenerd@gmail.com. Peter says, Dear Nerds, you mentioned buying movie tickets on the internet. My wife and I love going to the movies, but we pretty much stopped for several years because we could never get there early enough to get tickets or decent seats. Now, we probably go 20 times the number of theaters now that we can guarantee that we can see, except for 2020, obviously. Yeah, I agree. Like, that's been like a huge change. He says, the last Calvin and Hobbes cartoon is a very sweet and worth looking up. It captures the best of that comic strip. Thanks for the recommendation, Matt.
Yeah, anytime.
I mostly agree with what you guys said about Disney Plus. The platform scaled quickly to its unexpectedly large audience and has been rock solid for me. I think they can blame COVID for the delay in releasing their anticipated shows, but the pressure is on for 2021 to release shows and convince people to stay when the 1-year free subscription starts expiring. We got ours through Verizon and haven't paid Disney yet. Which I think is true, Matt. Like,
there's a lot of stuff coming up pretty quick, man.
Yeah, that they've got to hook people to keep them paying. He says Apple TV Plus has done a far better job releasing new shows and much better than I expected them to. They do have the advantage that they're mostly funding shows created by others rather than producing and exercising artistic controls like Disney. Also, their 11-figure war chest made them very competitive in scooping up anything that couldn't launch normally this year. Which is kind of true, and it also kind of was true for Disney too, right? Because they picked up Hamilton, and that had been filmed, and they just said like, "Hey, we're going to toss a lot of money at it because everyone and their dog's going to want to see Hamilton, and they'll come to Disney Plus."
Yep.
Peter says, "I'd love to hear numbers for Mulan, but every indication shows that it was a failure. Soul will be released for free, and Wonder Woman will be released simultaneously in theaters and free to subscribers on HBO Max. I don't think this would be happening if there was money to be made with premium video on demand. I don't consider this a failure for the Disney Plus. It was a marketing experiment that verified that the market isn't there." That's actually a pretty interesting way to look at it. That the Mulan thing was just more of a marketing experiment to test the waters to see if the market was there and if they'd respond to paying that.
Yep.
And I think we can agree that it's probably not there.
Nope.
I think streaming services have been a useful outlet for big Hollywood movies that couldn't be shown in theaters. Example, Tom Hanks' Greyhound. But I doubt the numbers make sense for big budget movies, especially outside of a franchise. Disney has the advantage of owning the content, so they can deploy new releases whenever they make strategic sense. A standalone movie like Tenet, huge budget, independent, was a guaranteed loser by 2020 rules, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
I give the platform an A-. I don't have any specific feature requests, but I wish it was faster. I feel like Netflix is the only one that feels snappy when navigating, probably due to caching data. Apple TV Plus is also fast to navigate, but the confusing mix of all kinds of content in the Apple TV app negates that speed. I put the platforms in this order: Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, and Hulu. Amazon's priorities mean that it will eventually get nicer to use, but that is probably many, many years in the future. Hulu has been dead to me since they showed me an ad on a paid service. Which is interesting because Hulu does have that like really weird, like, you can pay for the service at the low end and still get commercials, or you can pay a little bit more and get no commercials, which is what we do. Like, I pay the extra couple of bucks a month.
Yeah, I've never seen a commercial on Hulu.
Yeah, neither have I. But I do agree that when all the other services like Netflix and Amazon, and Apple TV, and probably I'm assuming HBO Max, and Disney Plus, like, they don't run ads. They're more expensive, but I mean, yeah, if I was just paying the bottom dollar on Hulu, yeah, I would hate that too.
Yep.
It says we occasionally watch the weird DVD special feature quality documentaries or something from the Disney catalog. But for our family, Disney Plus is still a great value for The Mandalorian, Phineas and Ferb, and the Disney animated shorts. Now, if they would just start releasing those marquee shows, I agree. And then he goes on. P.S. Response to The Mandalorian's sidekick for Chapter 12. I mostly enjoyed the episode, but didn't get into all the speculation and world connecting you guys did. Your discussion did make me wonder what Baby Yoda will be like at 75 years old during the sequel trilogy timeline. Maybe he'll be a sassy teenager like Groot in Infinity War. I give it an A-. The episode felt like a movie, but many scenes felt very rushed to fit into a 50-minute episode. That's fair. That's fair.
Is it?
I mean, if
Kidding,
you didn't know all the other stuff, yeah,
I said
it's
everyone's
fair.
got their own opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
that's great. A- is a great score. Peter, I agree.
A- is a
said.
great score.
Agree.
All right, let's jump over to Twitter at Ford of Nerd. We've got Robert Pollard at Robert Pollard02. He says, A+ for the Star Wars and Marvel content alone. Plus, my kids, now 17 and 14, have access to all of their favorite Disney Channel shows. Final point is, since I have a Disney Chase debit card, I prepaid for 3 years, which averages out to $4 a month. Which is just slightly higher than the 3-year deal I got being a D23 member.
Right.
That was like $3.47 a month is what it broke down to. But I didn't even know that if you had the Disney Chase debit card, you could prepay for 3 years and get it for $4. That's a good deal.
A good value.
That is definitely a good value. Okay, our last one. We're gonna jump over here to the Discord. And Matt, I'm just gonna say this right now. Prepare yourself. We've got Tim Paulin. He says, like you guys, grade The Mandalorian A++. For $75 per year, it's a great service full of content. Love it, love it, love it. And it has the best Star Wars movie ever, Rise of Skywalker.
No, how do we cancel somebody? Can we culture people come
How
out.
do we cancel
Where are you?
somebody?
Cancel.
The
Cancel.
the really
Someone.
funny thing is that I popped in another streamer's stream just a couple days ago, and it was just after this streamer, a good friend of ours, Will from Will's Toy Clearance, had just watched Rise of Skywalker, and he hated it like we did. And he was
Okay.
spitting fire. And as soon as I popped in, Tim was like, "Spencer, you're not going to believe this." Da, 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 da. And so I was like, I missed this because I would have loved to have been there. And I started, kind of, needling Will a little bit to see, and he was right on board with where we are. So of course, Tim is trolling us with his answer this week,
Of course.
with the Rise of Skywalker. Gosh darn it, that was so good. Like, I saw that, and it was just one of those moments where I shook my head and I went, if Tim wasn't such a good friend, I would have just ignored that answer altogether, because I don't want to trigger us. But knowing that he's just messing around with us, I was like, all right, well, we can play along. Super friends, thank you so much. We love the interaction, even when you troll us from time to time. We love the interaction week after week. So thank you for your answers. Keep bringing them in. I think we got a good one this week, and our question of the week is going to go along with this upcoming discussion we're about to have. I think we're going to get some good takes on this as well, so I'm looking forward to that already, and we haven't even started talking about it. Matt, though, how can the Super Friends help us out? Like, week after week, they're amazing, but what can they do for us this week?
And just keep being super. Like, get them capes on and save lives. Like, y'all just do you. And like, subscribe, comment, find, share, airdrop. I don't know any other terms
Follow.
of technology do. And thanks. Thanks for writing us. Thanks for answering questions and interacting. Makes the show worth it.
I'm gonna take a second right here. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna interrupt you. I want to say, because it is Thanksgiving, before we get into this other stuff, because it's gonna be fun. But I do want to say, I am very thankful for the Super Friends. Whether you're a Super Friend since day one, episode 1, which was literally almost 4 years ago to the day when this podcast will release, because I think our first episode was like December 4th. It was just like a week maybe after Thanksgiving. From that very, very, very first episode, or whether you're a Super Friend and you're just coming in on episode 209, this episode, I want to say thank you. Like, I have done this for 4 years. Matt and I have now been doing this for about a year and a half, I think. Yeah. Something like that. Because we love doing this. This is a hobby. It's fun to us. Like, we're not getting paid for this. This isn't this isn't a career for us. It's something we love to do. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't and I wouldn't stay around if it wasn't for the Super Friends. So I want to say a big thank you for those of you that listen in and write in and mess with us, send us stuff on the social media, on the Discord. Like, thank you. On Thanksgiving Day, I want to say that I'm thankful for the Super Friends.
That was beautiful.
Well, I meant it.
To say that was great. I agree. Ditto. Not the Pokemon, but the English term for I agree and or that's what she said. I turned this into I apologize. Really though, we are grateful, and we say it every week. We try to. Thank you for writing, and thank you for all that you do. And thank you to Spencer out there, of course. He puts all of this together. Y'all, I show up on Mondays and I record. Spencer does all the work, the editing,
the come on. Stuff. You do more than that.
I talk to him on days that aren't today. That's true.
You help me week after week. You come up with ideas for Rebel Intelligence, with discussion ideas. Too. Yeah, you're involved, Matt. Please don't shortchange yourself.
Well, thank you. And Super Friends this week, be grateful. # give thanks for all that you have. And you know, I guess that's what I'm gonna say. Just try to be grateful, find the things in life that are good. It's been a heck of a year. It's going to interesting Thanksgiving. If your tradition is to kind of go around the table and say what you're thankful for, think long and hard this year because it's been a hard one.
Right.
But I guarantee that you'll find something to be grateful for. And I know I have quite a few things as well.
Well said, Matt. Well said. I love that. So since today is Thanksgiving, or at least it will be when you listen to this, I thought that instead of doing the nerd pop culture route of, Thanksgiving stuff, which we've kind of done some in the past, we're gonna go with a little back and forth. I've got 3 things in 2 of these categories, and Matt has 3 things in 2 of these categories. We're gonna talk about the trash items. I'm talking food items, the trash food items of Thanksgiving, and then your 3 must-have items at Thanksgiving for the meal. Like, what is that thing that if it's not on the table, like your Thanksgiving meal, like you're missing out. Like it's to you personally, a little bit of you just died. And then what is that thing that, like, if it's on the table, you're like, oh my, what are you guys thinking? Like, ugh. And Matt, I figure you and I can go back and forth, one and one and one and one, only because there could be a chance that we could overlap a little bit. And if so, then
I'm sure we will.
We'll just roll. So
especially on the good stuff.
Matt, what is your first trash item? Like, now and now I'm gonna say this. It could be something you absolutely hate, or it could just be something that, like, takes up space and you don't want to give up your precious stomach space for that item when you could be having such amazing things. Because I understand, like, not everything on this list is going to be things like I can't stomach or I hate eating.
Right, or not. Yes, I agree. There are some things on here where it's like, but I'm never going to take it if I have a choice. It's like one of those things where grandma's like, "Oh, you didn't get any," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was by choice.
Right?
Like, I purposefully did not.
You know that I got up and made my own plate, right?
Like, I skipped that. Are you kidding me? Why would I freaking?
Right. I slaved all day. It's like, well, maybe you should have slaved on some of these things because Grandma, we ain't liking that stuff. Yeah,
this ain't good. All right, so the first thing.
What's your first thing?
I'm gonna go with something kind of out of left field, right field, left field, center field, third base.
Out of baseball. Yep.
It is something called ambrosia salad. Have you heard of it?
Yes, but tell me what it is, because it's been a while since I've heard of that.
I will describe it as best that I can. It's a look. I'll tell you this. Hold on. It sounds good.
Okay.
And every year that it is at the dinner table, which is often if we're eating with my grandma, which I always did growing up.
Sure.
It sounds great, but it's complete garbage. And every year I go, oh, this sounds good. Like, I'm going to get it. And it's never good.
Okay.
It is a concoction of fruits.
Uh-huh.
And like a whipped creamy kind of glaze.
Is it kind of like Jell-O?
No, it's much more loose.
Okay.
So almost as if, I mean, it's like a fruit salad, but it's a little like firmer than a fruit salad because it's bound together by this whipped coating.
Okay.
Now, that sounds delicious, right?
Maybe.
However,
I mean,
there are. I don't know if it's the recipe, which I may be offending a great grandmother somewhere.
Right.
And I am so sorry, but this doesn't translate to 2020.
Are you?
I'm not. When have I ever really been that apologetic about my hot takes?
Right.
I don't really care. But anyway, long story short, it's so hard to explain. And I know I'm not doing it, but it's almost like a fruit cake that's a salad. And I'm going to say this. ambrosia salad / anything that has the word salad in it that's not actually a salad. I never get it. I'm like, why? This isn't even a salad. But ambrosia salad is a special type of disgusting texture, awful. There's like marshmallows in it. All of it sounds great, you guys, but it's not great. And
Okay.
I had to look this up today because I was like, is this just like a my family thing that has ambrosia salad every year? And the answer is no. It's like it's a southern thing. And it's
Okay.
specifically with holidays,
Hmm.
particularly Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I'm not crazy. This is a real thing. Shout out to anybody who had ambrosia salad or continues to have it. Send me a better
Yeah.
recipe than the one we got rolling over here in the Shaw fam because it sucks.
Interesting. Okay, I will say I also did have salad on my list.
Okay.
And I'm just thinking of like your normal like
Just a salad.
yeah, like a normal salad.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it could be a mixed green, it could be iceberg, it could be whatever, but like
Right.
no one wants salad on Thanksgiving. Like that's so I'll pick another one to round out my three because I'm gonna tag just
Okay.
salad on with your ambrosia salad because anything with the word salad in it,
Right.
um, no. Like normal
No.
meals, sure, fine, but
Mm-hmm,
I ain't
mm-hmm.
got stomach space for salad, please. All right, this one. This is the only one on my list that like I just hate.
Okay.
Everything else is like, why are you taking up room?
Okay.
I'm not gonna waste room on my plate because there's better stuff.
Okay.
This
Okay. I'm excited.
this is I hate this. Don't ever bring this in my home. And it's a very, very popular
Oh my gosh. This is so frustrating.
traditional Thanksgiving side. Don't bring cranberry jelly anywhere near me. I don't care if it's got real cranberries in it. I don't care if it's cranberry concoction that you made, if it's a cranberry
Yep.
compo. No. That stuff is straight trash garbage. I hate it. I barely will drink like a juice that has cranberries, like
Yeah.
apple cranberry juice. Maybe,
Right.
but
Right.
it's
If you're
not where I'm
desperate.
going. It's not where I'm going to. Straight cranberry juice? No, heck no. Get that crap out. I'd rather dehydrate and die. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't like cranberries. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been like this my whole life. My whole like my family loves it. Like my mom would pull it out of the can and it's got like the ribbed like effect of the can
Yeah.
that sits on a plate. I'm
Oh,
like,
I know.
and just I've hated it my whole life. So a number of years ago, we were having Thanksgiving with our in-laws at our house. And our sister-in-law, Reese, said, "Hey, I'm going to make a cheesecake." I'm like, "Yeah, great. A cheesecake sounds amazing. I love love
Can't trust
cheesecake."
when Reese decides she's gonna make something because there's
No.
always a weird ingredient that she
No.
loves.
Now here's the thing. I will say, in her defense, because I'm very far removed from this at the time. Trust me,
Yeah.
this was I offended people. Okay,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
was bad. I offended people. In her defense, cranberries is a fairly common traditional
Oh, absolutely.
topping at Thanksgiving, but to me, she came with this cheesecake with like this like maybe half-inch thick layer of like cranberry gelatin
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sauce that she made that she put on, and I was like, why would you not just have that on the side as an option for people to drizzle over? Instead,
Right.
you've polluted the entire cheesecake, and now I won't even have a slice of it. Like I'm not gonna try to. I'm
Yeah.
not spending time scraping. I was revolted by the. I was like, you ruined a perfectly good
So
cheesecake.
funny.
Like, hey, you want to have it on the side and drizzle on yourself? Cool, have at it.
Right.
And of course, she made something. She was so kind to bring something, and
Yeah, Reese is the best.
I acted like a horse's rear end,
Mm-hmm.
and I offended people. And I apologize
Those
now.
days are behind us.
No, they're not. Because if she showed up with one this year, I would have the same reaction. I just hate cranberries. It's like stick it on the
Sure.
side. Like know your audience.
Right. Right.
Good. Like anyway. So yeah, get that cranberry junk out of here. Like I never
Yeah.
want to. I never want to see it. If you have it at your home, that's what you want to eat. Fine, but like
Mm-hmm.
I will never willingly buy it. Make it like Brita likes it. But we had our little conversation this year, and she's like, "I'm not going to make anything that I'm the only one that's going to eat." I'm like, "Yeah, because you're going to open up a can of that crap, dump it onto a plate. You're going to take 2 spoonfuls of it, and the rest is going to get
Right.
thrown out. So
Right.
why
Yeah.
spend the $1.75 for 2
Right.
spoonfuls?"
Yep.
Anyway, that's the only thing I hate. I
Right.
know there's probably super friends that are listening to me going, "What the crap, Spence?"
Yeah. My mom.
I'm just saying that stuff is nasty. It's trash. It's garbage. I hate it.
Yep.
Ugh.
Well, spoiler alert, that's on my list. I don't have the opinions like that, but that's one of my three. So I'll just tag on and say cranberry sauce is one of those things. It's like, why? Just tradition, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you open it in the can and you like take a bite. You're like, this is like so bitter and sour and disgusting. I don't really understand why we're consuming it. Like, and the way it comes out of that can is like, this is not like what people, like human
It's
people,
not
like,
natural. No.
no, like God didn't intend for us to eat things that look like that out of a can.
God
Come
intended
on,
us to eat cheesecake, not
that
cranberry
goes right.
cheesecake.
Oh, come
No.
on now.
No.
Um, yeah, are we sticking with gross? Are we going to go to love now or hate?
No, no, no,
still?
no. I've still,
round out the
I've
hate?
still got some others that are trash.
Yeah,
Like,
we're rounding out the hate. Okay, so
yeah,
my
yeah.
next hate. I mean, cranberry sauce is on there, so this is my last hate.
Okay.
And I don't really hate this that much, but it's definitely not something that I take on my
Yep.
first pass, my second pass, really any pass, if I can help it. And that is the yams.
Dude, that's
Very
the thing I had
traditional.
too.
Really?
Yes.
Traditional classic dish that you're always going to have in some form, and it's typically candied, or they
Yep.
like have the marshmallow
Marshmallows
top,
or
and
like the brown
you're
sugar
like,
and
well,
butter and yeah.
yeah, we're trying to make something that's not good.
Yeah.
And if it's not good, it's just not good. You just don't need to have it. Look, it's just not good.
Okay, so can I say this? Like, I didn't eat those for years, and I think I finally had some for the first time last year.
Yeah.
I decided to try a spoonful or two, and I was like, "Hey, this actually isn't half bad."
No.
Here's the thing, though, Matt. There's too many other good things to
Okay.
waste time
Yeah.
on my plate with things that aren't half bad.
Right. It's
That's all.
not bad. Like you eat it, you're like, "Meh," it's not like cranberry sauce. You take a bite, you're like, this is not good.
Yeah.
But with the yams, you're like, it's fine. Like I could put this in my body on a normal night and not be mad about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But on Thanksgiving,
But not tonight.
plate
Come
space
on, man.
is prime real estate. You want
Yeah,
the
I'm
good
not
stuff.
having that.
All right.
No.
So I'm with you. That was actually I put candied yams / sweet
funny.
potato casserole. So I will
Okay,
say
yeah.
one other thing then. Once again, this falls into the category of like I would normally eat it if it was like if we were at a barbecue or a cookout and this was there, I would have some. Not a lot, but I would have some. On Thanksgiving, no. And this is any kind of whipped jello. Like if you got jello, like you got lime jello or whatever, and like you fold it in Cool Whip and marshmallows and whatever, like I know that that's a fairly popular type of like side, which to me it's kind of crazy because jello is a dessert,
It's dessert.
but it gets served as a side somehow
It does.
at
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. I like I said, if I'm at a barbecue or a cookout or something and someone has that, like I'll take a spoonful and I'll eat some, and it's not bad. In some cases, I've had some that have been pretty darn good.
Yeah,
but not on Thanksgiving. Like I got too many other things. Like it's like I said, it's prime real estate on that plate. I don't have room for that. Like we're talking the heavy hitters. That's what I want.
You know what? Oh, this is a dissenting opinion. But let me tell you where I stand on the jello.
Okay.
I like it. I like a raspberry jello. In fact, I requested it this year. We're having Thanksgiving at my house this year. My parents, obviously, the people are coming to see us.
Sure.
I like it. Get a little Cool Whip on top.
Cool Whip.
I'm into it. Now, my biggest problem with it though, and it's a game changer ruiner, is you cannot have it on the plate with all the rest of your food because the juices
The
and
temperature.
the sweetness, it
Yes.
goes all over the place. And you're like, why do my mashed potatoes have a little bit of sweet? I
Yeah.
don't want
Why does
that.
my roll have a raspberry layer?
Yes. So that's my
Yep.
biggest problem. Like if I have a separate little plate for it, beautiful. I'll take it as a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
But I'm not into it
Yeah.
being on my main
Yeah,
plate.
yeah.
That's
You
a
got. I
bad.
see. I didn't even think of that. That's true. You've got so many other warm things that are on the
Yeah.
plate that the
It
the
really
temperature of the plate comes up, so it starts to
kills the vibe,
it
man.
starts to lose its gelatinous whatever.
I don't like my food mixing just most meals, and that's a really big offender.
Yep,
All
that
right,
makes
so
sense.
moving on to likes.
Moving on to like these are your must-haves. Like if they're not on the
Right.
table, like if you're not putting them on your
Are
plate,
we
like
minus turkey, right?
you're minus turkey. Well,
Okay.
here's the thing. I could do without turkey. Like I like turkey,
Oh, hot take.
but like I'm not like this is not my thing and whatever. But like
Yeah.
turkey's fine, but I really only ever eat it like in somewhat larger quantities on Thanksgiving and maybe a day or two after, and then I'm done. I don't have a
Yeah.
lot of turkey throughout the year. Like if someone said, "Hey, we're gonna do a Texas barbecue brisket Thanksgiving," dude, I'm all over
Yeah, I know.
that.
Yeah, for
Ribs,
sure.
I'll like, but turkey's it's traditional, and I like it. But it's not the top.
Sure.
So we can exclude it from this list
Okay.
and
Let's
talk about like
exclude
the
it.
sides and all the other stuff or
Okay.
whatever. So yeah, what do you
All
got?
right, my
What's
first
your
love,
number one out of
this
the
is
gate?
easy. This has to be on everyone's list. Also, funny fact, when I came up with my three, I asked my wife, I said, Jesse, what are your three? And her three are the exact as my three. Which
Ooh,
cute, hashtag marriage.
nice,
Um,
nice.
So my number one, and this is probably in this order, perhaps, doesn't matter. Mashed potatoes is the biggest 100%. If it's not there, I'm throwing a hissy fit. I'm breaking crap. I'm slamming
Wow.
doors. I'm leaving the dinner. I'm gone.
Okay, hot take. That's not on my list.
Oh my gosh.
I love
How
it.
can you have it?
I love it, but it's not on my list.
This is, for me, this is probably number one. And that's what makes a turkey so good when you
Mashed
can,
potatoes and
like,
gravy.
a little bit of mashed potato and gravy with the turkey. It's like, oh, man.
See, that's why turkey's not on my list, because it's only really good to me if you have mashed potatoes and gravy with it. So if I got to put something with it to make it good, that's why it doesn't like. That's why it's not the king of the plate.
Sure. Wow. Turkey. Okay. So anyway, mashed potatoes and gravy. What do you got?
Mashed potatoes and gravy. Don't get me wrong, it's good, and it
Oh, of
always
course.
it
I
always
imagine.
it always has a spot on my plate, and in pretty
Yeah.
decent quantities.
Yeah.
But if I'm talking Thanksgiving, and there's three things, if I don't have them, then I'm having a problem. Like
Okay.
it's bad. Number one for me, stuffing. If there is not stuffing, get the heck out. Cancel the holiday. No football.
Okay.
Pack it up. We are done. I
Yeah.
love stuffing. I love stuffing. Now, here's the thing. My mom made stuffing, like homemade stuffing, my whole life.
Mhm.
For some reason, like I can't tell you like what flavor or type she made, but I'm
Yeah.
to the point now where like stovetop stuffing,
Oh.
like I can make a whole box of that and that is dinner
great.
for me. Like I
Oh, yeah, sure.
love it. Like we bought 4 boxes of stuffing. I mean, we got it kind of at a discount, but like we're probably gonna make at least 2 and then go from there. Stuffing, man, like if that's not on my plate, that's not Thanksgiving. Like I have to have stuffing. Like that's
Yeah.
crucial. That's
I
crucial.
cannot disagree with that.
Mm.
That was probably right number 4. It didn't
Okay.
quite make
Fair
my
enough.
cut, but stuffing is really, and I don't think as a kid I liked it.
Oh man,
And Jesse does not like it. I know that.
Ooh, really?
It's a definite holiday must
Okay.
have.
Does
for
your
me.
stuffing have meat in it?
I don't know. I never make it. I don't
Mine-
pay attention.
mine-
Everything
mine
just
doesn't.
melts.
Yeah.
Probably. I doubt it. I doubt it. Ours is typically from like a bog.
A bog?
That's a
Wow.
mix between a box. if you're not sure what it is, you're like, I don't know, is this a bag or a box? You're just like,
It's a bog. Yeah.
It's a bog, man. So anyway, it comes in a bog.
Because I know a lot of people who make stuffing and it come like it's got sausage in it or hamburger or whatever. For me, like my stuffing doesn't have meat in it. Like that's what the turkey's there for. Like we've got meat, we got protein on the turkey, but no, man, stuffing. Yep. Oh, like
good one.
No joke. Like I'm salivating right now thinking of stuffing.
Only a few days. Only today, I mean. We just finished the
meal.
Yep,
that was the best stuffing I've eaten today.
So yummy. Thank you for making it. All right. My next must have. This is funny. I don't know that we're going to have many of the same here. Is like homemade, like yeasty, delicious, warm dinner rolls.
Ooh.
An absolute must have. And I say that because there's just, don't have it a ton. And especially not like homemade. Like there's some really good ones you can like freeze, like
Rhodes rolls.
Yeah. Like those are easy. Just pop them in and they're great.
Yep.
But there's something special on Thanksgiving for me. I could be happy with just a Thanksgiving meal that's dark meat turkey, mashed potatoes, and rolls. And I could be happy.
Yeah.
But rolls are a must-have for me. They're just, I mean, who wouldn't? That's got to be on everyone's top 3 if they're really getting down to basic food of like what's going to be there. Not necessarily like what makes Thanksgiving Thanksgiving.
Sure.
But just like when you're at the meal, everybody gets a roll. Like how do you pass up on a delicious homemade roll? That's a delicious must-have.
I will tell you, I will pass up on a roll if I still have real estate for my next thing.
Okay.
I love rolls, and don't get me wrong, I always get 1, 2, 3 of them. But I could potentially skip them for this next item. And for me, I don't know if this is because they were made like my grandmother used to make them and she was from the hills of Kentucky, so maybe it's a southern thing. But deviled eggs. Oh, I love deviled eggs, and they have to be on the plate. They've got to be part of Thanksgiving. Like, and it's the deviled eggs like with the mustard, with the mustard mixed in with the egg yolks and the paprika. Sure. My grandmother would put in like a little bit of like pickle or like a little bit of relish, so it had like a little bit of acidity and a little bit of like crunch to it too. Like, ooh, that is good eating. I have to have that for Thanksgiving. If I don't have that, like, I'm so let down. I'm so let down if that's not there.
I don't necessarily think of that as a Thanksgiving food because I don't know that we really have that at Thanksgiving. But maybe we do. Ooh. I love deviled eggs. It's one of my favorite foods. I know I like them so much that in the middle of the year when Jesse and I first got married, I made them.
Yeah.
I just was like, I want them.
Hey, so I'm going to make them. If you bought an Instapot like last year on Black Friday, there is no excuse not to be having deviled eggs because they are so simple to make.
You have inspired me because I forgot.
You made them and you ate them, right?
I mean, they are so good. I'm glad you reminded me on Monday when we recorded the recording of the recording podcast.
Right. Yeah.
So yes, that's a good one, dude. That's a really good one. And again, I can't disagree with it.
Right. Yeah, like I can't disagree with your rolls either.
Really good.
But for me,
deviled eggs are amazing.
Yeah.
Gosh, they're so good. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna make them. We got a whole. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yep.
All right. My last one. Now, this is not a side. I know that I'm cheating. Whatever. Say what you want to say, but it is not Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving for me without pumpkin pie.
Preach it, brother. Yes.
There is almost nothing more Thanksgiving, dare I say, than a slice of pumpkin pie. And all y'all haters out there, I know you're out there. My wife being one of them, most of my family being haters. I love it. Love pumpkin pie. It's so festive and it just gets me there. Okay, like it really it caps it all off. It makes me feel like my day has been worth it, and the meal was worth it, and everything in life is okay. Pumpkin pie, I made it myself last year,
Ooh.
and I don't know that Jessie even she probably tried it. She loves me,
Mm.
but I made it for me. Like pumpkin pie is for me. Nobody else really no one else eats it
I
in my
love
family.
I
It's
love
me.
pumpkin pie, but it's not my favorite pie at Thanksgiving. It's
I
my
can
it's my
understand that.
second favorite pie at Thanksgiving. So I put pies as my third thing, Matt, because I agree like Thanksgiving without pies is
It's
it
not Thanksgiving.
it's not Thanksgiving. Like if
No.
there's one holiday where like pie reigns supreme, it's Thanksgiving. Like
Yep. Yep.
Christmas, you might have pies, you may have cakes, you may have other desserts like cookies and
Uh-huh.
whatnot. You may have some pies at 4th of July, but you may also have like, the jello stuff and whatever, like the lighter,
Yep.
whatever. But Thanksgiving, man, pies. You got to have pies. My number one pie, though, my number one pie is pecan pie. When
Wow.
when else do you get pecan pie? Thanksgiving. That's when
Uh,
else. Like
sure, sure.
I love a pecan pie. You put a pecan pie in front of me, ooh, I'm gonna do damage to that thing. Like that's not going home in one piece. That's in for some trouble.
Yes,
Then
sir.
then you add in pumpkin pie with Cool Whip. Don't bring him into this homemade like whipped cream madness. No, Cool Whip. I want it out of the freaking plastic tub. Big old dollop of it. Smear that stuff around there so
Uh-huh.
every square inch is covered, and go to town. And then
So
apple
good.
pie. Like
Classic, man. Come
that
on.
that Costco caramely Dutch apple pie that they sell. Like we just got that in Monday night. We got that ordered in and delivered from Costco. Like that
Nice.
that is there. Like ooh. Pumpkin
Yep,
for
yep.
me, pumpkin for me is good, but it's like I want a slice of pumpkin pie. Maybe a slice and a half. I,
Right.
I don't need to eat like I'm not going to decimate a pumpkin pie. Apple pie, I'll definitely have a slice or two. Pecan pie, ooh doggy, look out, that's in
You
trouble.
know, it's
I'm gonna
it's
get that pecan
interesting.
pie pregnant. That's what I'm saying right now. Like it's gonna get serious. Like mm.
Again, I'm not here. We have very similar opinions as it pertains to Thanksgiving. It would appear to me.
Yeah,
Um, Pecan pie. Again, we say it differently,
yeah,
but it's the same daggone
yeah.
pie. Um, is great. It has never been a Thanksgiving pie here
That's too
for
bad.
me, which is odd because it's Texas and pecan pie is like a southern like
Yeah,
classic. Um, I like it. I like all pies almost. Almost. Sometimes it depends on the crusts. Look, I'm a crust kind of. I don't know.
my
I
mom's
don't.
husband likes like that raspberry pie, and like
Oh,
I had a warm raspberry pie
sounds good.
with a scoop of vanilla ice cream on it, a la mode style. That was really
Man,
good too.
how could you?
I mean,
I don't even
it
know
was
what a raspberry is, but daggum, it's a berry. It's in a
it
pie,
was pretty
and you
good.
got ice cream.
I think it's like raspberries, blueberries, and blackberries. I think that's what
Oh,
it is.
come on,
I mean,
that's
it
fantastic.
was
Ain't
delicious,
nobody gonna complain about a
and
raspberry
that
pie.
sounds very southern to me as well.
We've had those. We've had raspberry pies. I didn't know what was in it. Thanks for the tip.
Yeah.
Jesse's making an apple pie this year. I'm probably gonna buy pumpkin pie because I don't want to make it.
Plus, if you're the only one eating it, I get that.
Yeah. I
Why
mean, I'm
put in
making
all
it
that
for
time?
myself.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, my family. I guess it's about family. I guess they're great, but come on.
Family.
Anyway, that's it, y'all.
That's it. Oh gosh, just so
That's
good,
it.
so good.
I
So
know you're listening to this, and I
yeah,
know you woke up and it's 6 a.m. and you're like, I can't believe I'm so excited we got the podcast to listen to start my Thanksgiving day. Now
right.
you're looking forward to the meal because I know you're prepping it right now. You're throwing the turkey in the oven, or in my case, on the smoker, and
Yes.
you're going, man, like what a great day. Started out with Spence and Matt, like this couldn't get any better. They're talking about the food, like merry, happy Thanksgiving to all.
Yes, absolutely. Merry happy Thanksgiving to all.
Yeah, man.
So here's the question, super friends. Either you listen to us first thing in the morning prior to it, or you're in that tryptophan, like zoned out state and you're just got us on and you're just chilling. We want to hear from you this week because Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving, and I know that you had food. We want to hear from you. What is the 3 things that either you hate or you're just not making room for on your plate? Like it's not that prime real estate. It's not going to go there. And then
Yep.
what are the 3 things that you have to have in order for it to be Thanksgiving? You get us those answers. We're going to read them next week. Get them in the normal places. You can put it Facebook. You can email us. Twitter, Instagram, the Discord, the Google voice number, the telephone number. Uh, put it out there. I will make sure that I'm going to put the question of the week out early. I may even put the question of the week out on Thanksgiving while people are eating so they can be thinking about it. They're thinking about food. They can get us those answers and we can get a lot of good answers because I would love to get a lot of those super friends to put in there. And if you also want to tell us something you're thankful for this year, we'd love to read that too. Just saying.
Truth.
Matt, episode 209. I gotta say, Matt, I'm thankful for you that you're willing to be here every week with me and to do this again and again and again.
Yes, same. Back at you.
Well, for all of us here at the Fortress of Nerditude, to all of you out there, wherever you may be, may the Force be with you. Always.